to Charm Chats. Hey guys.
Hello.
Welcome to Charm Chats with Kendra.
And Kat. She said no cold opens, so no cold opens.
That's right.
I shall give, even though it breaks my little heart.
Yep. Today we're covering episode 421, Womb Raider.
Yeah, this one aired on May 9th, 2002.
Mm-hmm. And if you couldn't tell, this is a rather horrible play on Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Which has been a video game, has been a movie, has been a video game, has been another movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's yet reached into the television
scene. I don't think so, but it has...
Undoubtedly, there are novelizations of something.
Possibly. It's basically a female Indiana Jones. But I don't think that has anything to do with this episode, so it's mostly just a cute pun. However, this episode came out in May 2002. In December 2003, a movie named Womb Raider was actually made. Now, looking at the IMDb summary, it's absolutely softcore porn. The main character is a wealthy treasure hunter named Kara Loft, instead of Lara Croft.
We gotta get a Spoonerism in there.
Who is on her way to meet renowned art collector Dr. Scrotus. So that's a thing that exists.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we're just gonna...
Oh, hello,
Hi,
dog.
Blue. We're just gonna go right on past that one. Because, oh boy. Into bed. Go into bed. Go into bed. Go to sleep. Wave to puppies.
So we have we start off running.
Yeah.
We have a rack focus to Phoebe, who is lying on a hospital stretcher under a white blanket. She's wearing hospital scrubbies.
Actually, we don't see any of the things that she's wearing because she is under the blanket up to her neck. Yeah.
I could have sworn I saw some shoulders, but maybe that was just me.
Yeah.
She's being wheeled into said hospital, and there are a ton of people in this opening scene.
Yes. So we're going to do this as quickly as possible because there's only 3 people in the first, few moments that actually have lines. So here we go. We have the EMT, played by Matt Kamansky. I believe he was credited as Matthew Kamansky. He was born in 1971 in Long Island, New York, and he has 96 acting credits so far, starting back in 1973. The doctor is played by Michael Pavoni, not positive. He has no picture on IMDb, and he only has 9 acting credits between 1998 and 2016, but has 21 producing credits and 17 writer credits. So, there's that. And we will have a nurse played by Cynthia Yoshikawa.
Yes.
Thank you very much. She only has 2 acting credits. This episode of Charmed was her first, and then in 2006, she was on the 12th season of ER. In an episode, she played a character named Kendra.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Did you know there were 15 seasons of ER?
It doesn't surprise me.
It
was a soap opera.
Wow.
Even if it wasn't listed as a soap opera, it was a soap opera. Grey's Anatomy is still going.
I am aware. I stopped watching Grey's Anatomy so long ago.
It's been at least 14 years, because I remember people being obsessed about it when I was doing my driver's ed class in 2006.
Well, now I have to look up really quickly and see how many seasons Grey's Anatomy. 2005 is when it started.
So
Grey's
yeah,
Anatomy.
14 years.
So they are on season 16 as of September.
Oh,
of 2019.
My gosh.
But yeah, it just didn't occur to me that ER had 15 seasons because I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
So whew. Anyway, so the EMT and the doctors are talking about all sorts of pregnancy complications, including a ruptured placenta and possible prolapse, and they say they should get a room ready to do a C-section. Now, I'm not going to tangent on any of those things because pregnancy grosses me out.
A prolapse is when the inside of the balloon tries to go outside of the balloon.
I'm just going to plug my ears if you'd like to tell them la 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 la.
Basically, they're talking about how she's fully dilated.
Yeah.
And that means she's ready to, like, have the fucking baby because she's been in labor for a bit. And she's like, I'm only 2 months pregnant. And then the doctor looks at the EMT and he's like, she's full term.
Yeah, the EMT just kind of looks at me like, she's full term. She's being stupid.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
Side note,
yes.
I learned that I have a friend who was delivered a full 4 weeks after her due date.
Hey.
Like,
Yeah.
that is boggling to me. Like, why they would let a baby be in there for that long. Like, did they get the date wrong? What was happening?
That could be.
I don't know. But, like, this was just me wishing her a happy birthday on Facebook. And so she's like, yeah, I was in there an extra 4 weeks. I'm just like, wait, what? Wait, what? What? Like, they've apparently they do not let anyone go this long.
Yeah.
Ever now.
Yeah.
But her mom was like, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't wrong. They're just like, she was, weird, slow, developing, and yeah, bit of a different date, but she came out fine.
Yep. No, my absolute favorite thing ever is friends that I had in college, in the very short amount of time that I was in college, were twins.
Right.
3 months apart. Because one was preemie.
Yep.
And the other, because it was one of those where like the firstborn, the preemie, I'm not sure exactly what happened because I wasn't friends with her. I was friends with the younger one, the full term one. But she just, it was a premature whatever, and they were able to keep my friend in the womb longer. But my mom was on bed rest for 3 months. Like in a hospital for 3 months because they were trying to keep her under observation and keep me inside as long as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And she said that she was born 3 days? Yeah, 3 days after her due date.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, well, your due date is here. We can induce. And she goes, nope. Like, let her stay as long as she wants. So 3 days later, that's when she was like, okay, I'm ready now.
Yeah, my coworker.
But they were supposed to be identical.
Yeah.
It did not happen.
Well, I mean, they are identical.
They're
just not.
Yeah, they're identical twins. They are just not identical. They don't look the same at all.
Oh, because one was a preemie?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because she's much smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are technically identical twins.
One of my coworkers, her friend's sister, for some reason, paid her OBGYN for, like, the entire delivery, like, before it even happened. And then when she goes in on her due date, they're like, you're not ready. And so they wait, like, a week or two. And then when she comes in, they're like, oh shit, it's too big. Cesarean. Like, you didn't want to fucking check?
Yeah.
Like, you could have induced.
Yeah.
Like, she paid for you.
Uh-huh.
Could have induced.
Yeah.
Baby would have been fine.
Yep. But, little things.
Uh-huh. Anyway, we kind of jump to Phoebe inside of the operating room. There's all the doctors with nurses and masks, and one looks really fucking familiar standing around her. And Phoebe's like, where are my sisters? And the nurse is like, oh, this would be Yoshikawa.
Uh-huh.
Says that there wasn't time to call them.
The doctor says some technical stuff, and then the nurse tells Phoebe there's nothing to be afraid of.
Phoebe, of course, says she's afraid of what's inside her. The doctor's like, I can see the baby. And Phoebe starts begging for the baby to be normal.
We are shown the baby being born. Well, we're not showing the baby being born, but we're showing the umbilical cord being cut.
And we see some nice little, like, shadow play on the sheet between her legs.
It was a really nice way to do that, actually.
Yeah.
Like, it was, they didn't show any gore, they didn't show any, like, blood, it was just a lovely little shadow,
Well,
and then
they show a little gore, because then the doctor holds up the quote-unquote newborn that's clearly, like, a month or two old.
Yeah, at least a couple months old, because, Hollywood.
That they've just covered in, like, applesauce or something.
Usually it's jelly.
Okay, jelly?
Yeah.
Like apple jelly?
Yeah, usually it's like some sort of a vaguely pinkish jelly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've covered him in food.
Yeah.
So that he looks like he's covered in placenta or whatever.
Umbilical juices.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna
Well,
stop
no,
now.
not umbilical juices. Womb juices.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Anyway, he's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then doctor hands baby off.
Yeah. The nurse says he's beautiful. Phoebe says he's beautiful, and then
doctor hands baby over to, oh shit, it's the seer.
Yeah.
Who has suddenly doffed both her face mask and her hairnet, which you would not do in a surgery situation.
No, you would not.
And it
but
did a little bit miff me, but also
nightmare
and fake and fiction.
Yeah. So
And also, it's the seer, so why would I expect her to follow proper surgery protocol?
This is true. Phoebe immediately begs them not to let the seer take her baby. She's getting more frantic with every ask. And then we cut to her bedroom as she wakes up from her nightmare covered in sweat.
They have just sprayed her down.
Yep, her hair is down and wavy, and I can see she's wearing like some sort of like spaghetti strap pajama top, but there's not a lot of detail because everything is dark. She's like breathing heavily, and she looks around the room, and we go to opening credits. And the credits confirm that we have a Daryl.
Whoop, whoop.
But they also show there will be no Cole.
Yes. She just gave the okay sign for those not cued into the visual.
Yes, sometimes I forget.
Yeah.
We get a glorious, gorgeous sunrise shot of the skyline. The sky is a stunning shade of orange. So pretty. Get a little glimpse of the Triangle Building. There's a couple of shots of the Golden Gate Bridge, and then a few overhead shots of the city where we see the Triangle Building another 4 times. It's like they're taunting me at this point.
Oh, yeah, I walked past our Triangle Building yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
We then come to an exterior shot of the manor that we've never had before, or if we have, it was
No,
like...
we definitely haven't.
Okay.
We've never gotten a shot that had Paige's car in it.
That's not true. I think we've had
in front of the house?
We've had one shot of Paige's car, but I think it was in the driveway.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So this is a shot that is across the street in a moving vehicle because it pans a little bit. We see Paige's car parked in front of the house, Piper's car in the driveway, the swan hitch, and the tree with no leaves.
We got them all.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful shot. I actually really like that shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be like desktop wallpaper.
Yeah.
It was a really nice shot.
In
Anyway.
the kitchen, Piper, Paige, and Leo are all sitting at the table having breakfast.
Leo is reading the paper. He is wearing jeans and a red checkered button-down over a white t-shirt.
And he's reading the paper in that very, like, TV dad way, where it's just completely unfurled in front of him.
Yeah.
He must hold it up.
Yeah. Nobody reads the paper like that, except dads on TV.
Yeah.
Piper is in a long-sleeve red shirt that has a tie at the neck. It's kind of like a reddish-orange.
Yeah, it's like a dark reddish
like
orange.
a dark red.
Nice burnt umber.
Sure.
Or something.
Sure. It's like a...
Terracotta.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
Like a dark maroony terracotta.
Yeah, dark terracotta. Sorry, no, I'm getting the gif from Project Runway of blood orange. It's fucking red.
Yeah.
That's what just played in my head. Sorry. Anyway,
What's been playing in my head is a dad joke for the last, 20 minutes. Because you said maroon earlier. And I was like, oh, you mean when the blue ship hits the red ship? And they're both marooned.
Yes. Wow. Anyway, I didn't even say maroon on this. That was before we started recording.
Yep.
Kind of amazed you didn't say it back then, but that's all right. Anyway, Piper's shirt, like I said, had like a little tie. It was like a 3. It kind of looked like a shoelace kind of tie.
Yeah, it was a shoelace thingy.
With black pants and that little diamond necklace, and her hair is down. Paige is wearing tan pants and a gray shirt that looks like a vest with no bra.
It is a vest.
Right. But at this point, we can't actually see it. When she finally stands up is when we will get to know exactly what it looks like. But I'm going to tell you about it now because it's a very interesting top. So the top has a panel of tan on the back that looks like it might be textured or...
Suede.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same fabric as the panel in the front.
Nope.
It has an asymmetrical cut in the front so that the buttons go diagonally, and there's like a little piece of the vest that's just down.
Yeah. There's one of the panels points.
Yeah.
and then it comes up like above her hips. So there's like a little bit of side midriff.
Yeah, a little bit.
And presumably back.
Yes. But it is apparent that she is not wearing a bra.
Yeah, but she doesn't really need one with this one.
And
It's pretty well structured.
it is a very well tailored vest.
Yes.
So it works.
Her hair... Also, that's super not work appropriate, Paige.
Well, it's more work appropriate than some things that Prue has worn.
Yes, but it's not work appropriate for Paige. She is worn better for
At
work.
least she's wearing pants, not a miniskirt.
The miniskirt was pretty long. Wasn't you wearing tights with that?
Not one of them.
Okay.
Anyway, her hair is mostly down with a single barrette holding back her bangs on the side.
And she's talking about a date that she went on, but the guy was so quiet during dinner that she could hear his stomach digesting. And Piper says, looking at Leo as he's reading his paper, she prefers quiet men. They make good listeners. And Leo has the best response. He folds down the paper. He folds down the edge of the paper and goes, "What was that, dear?"
And then he smiles at her. And, like, it was the cutest exchange.
Yeah.
Of that, like, I'm listening, but I'm pretending that I didn't. Because it's funnier that way.
Yes.
It was great. I love it. Phoebe walks in. She's wearing a pink robe, and her hair is now pulled back into a ponytail. Piper tells her to sit and eat. She says she can't stand the smell, but she still sits down, and she kind of covers her nose with her robe.
And Leo's like, "But it smells good." And Paige is like, "Dude, morning sickness?"
Yeah. Phoebe says it should be called around-the-clock sickness, which is so true.
Mm-hmm.
From every pregnant woman that I have ever encountered, morning sickness is not just a morning thing.
Yeah. I've met pregnant women who, like, generally didn't really have morning sickness.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, one thing they could never tolerate during the pregnancy, like one food,
Mm-hmm.
and it, like, didn't change, or, like, one food they were just, cravings and whatnot. But there was, like, an anti-craving, just one of them. But it wasn't, like, a daily thing. It was, like, they encountered it at some point and were like, "Ooh, not that, not that." And then every other time during the pregnancy, they're like, "Oh, definitely not that, not that." But everything else is fine.
Interesting. I apologize if you can hear the lawnmower outside.
That's
Weed whacker.
It's an edger, yeah.
Yeah. We're just going to talk over it because we don't have time
Uh-huh.
to wait. Piper asks if Phoebe was at least able to get a good night's sleep. Phoebe says the nightmare came back and she's terrified that the seer is going to summon her at any moment to take her baby.
Leo says that the seer could only get to her when she chose evil, so she's safe now. It's not a very comforting comfort.
Nope.
Piper swears that the seer will never lay a finger on the baby. And Paige says the seer will have to get through them first.
Spoiler, she never lays a finger on
No,
the
she
baby.
doesn't.
Phoebe thanks them. Piper asks if she's okay. Phoebe replies that pain comes in waves.
Which was a really well-delivered line, I have to say.
Yeah.
Well written, well delivered.
And Piper reminds her that it's okay to be very upset since she just lost her husband.
Phoebe says she has to stay strong for the baby because he's all she has left of Cole.
Paige gets up, saying she's going to go check the Book of Shadows for magical protection against the seer, which is when we finally see her outfit.
Mm-hmm. And then Piper reminds Paige she's got to go to work.
Paige says she'll be late because Phoebe doesn't need to be stressed while she's pregnant, and she leaves the kitchen. Phoebe follows, and Piper gives Leo a look.
Capital L.
Yeah. Where it was just like, I don't know what's going to happen, but we should pay close attention.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of look.
Yeah, as Phoebe runs through the dining room to catch up with Paige at the base of the stairs, we can see that her pajamas, of course, are the light blue top from last night. Mm-hmm. It's got a little white lace trim.
Yep.
And
the trim turns into the straps.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, and there's like a ribbon lace through it that is a bow in the middle. Mm-hmm. And then lighter blue silk pants. And, of course, no bra because pajamas.
Yes. And she's still wearing that diamond horseshoe necklace.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much longer she wears this necklace. It's interesting to me that, like, they never wear the same outfit twice, but they wear the same jewelry all the time.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
Yeah. Phoebe tells Paige to say whatever it is she's been dying to say, kind of braces herself for verbal impact. And Paige is like, I got nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Phoebe says that Paige knew Cole was evil the whole time, and that everyone thought Paige was crazy, and it was thanks to Paige that they were able to vanquish the Source and give Cole peace.
Phoebe tells Paige to say, "I told you so," and Paige, like, kind of smiles. She's like, "Girl, that's not my style."
Yeah.
Phoebe's like, "I just want to clear the air. We've been really unfair to you." And Paige is like, "That's sweet, but, you know, I appreciate the gesture, but everything's fine."
Yeah.
And then she goes upstairs.
Phoebe goes back into the kitchen, and then she touches her forehead, looks like she's going to feel faint. She goes to sit down, and Piper asks if she's having another hot flash. And Phoebe says, yeah, it happens when I move too fast. And I legit started laughing my head off, because I was like, oh, fuck, I'm pregnant with Demon Seed? What is happening right now?
Quite
man.
the gestational period on that, then.
I know, right?
10
years.
Your baby's gonna come out and be like, "I did my waiting. 10
years
of it in Azkaban."
Yes. Anyway,
Piper tells her that she doesn't think hot flashes are a typical pregnancy symptom, and she should get the baby checked.
Phoebe starts to say that she hasn't had a chance to make a doctor's appointment. Piper says that she's got one that Phoebe can have. Leo questions Piper because they were supposed to find out about a fertility test that apparently Piper has had.
Or fertility tests, plural.
Yes, fertility tests.
Piper says that Phoebe needs the appointment more than they do, and Phoebe wonders how she can see a doctor when she is a demonically challenged baby. She has no idea what effect this year's tonics might have had on it.
Piper says that's kind of her point, and so she'll go with Phoebe so that she can put the freeze on if anything goes wrong. And then she picks up the phone to call the doctor, I'm assuming.
And makes a comment about getting her into those stirrups.
Yeah.
Definitely not the most fun part of any kind of checkup.
No, not so much.
Like, I like my doctor. I do not like those stirrups.
No. Down in the underworld, we find ourselves in the coronation room. There are demons standing around the circle with the Dark Priest and Dane in the middle, kneeling. The Dark Priest asks Dane if he's prepared to take on the power and position of the Source. Dane says that he is, and then the Dark Priest opens up the grimoire.
The seer then appears, telling them to stop the coronation, much to Dane's obvious annoyance. The Dark Priest is a little more tactful, and he's like, bad timing, sweetie, but why you here? And
She
she's
says,
like,
I love this moment. She says that she's had a vision of the Source's true heir leading the underworld, and Dane tells her that if that's her vision, she needs glasses. Because the Source's heir lives in the belly of a witch. And I just love how petty Dane is in this moment.
He definitely deigns to.
Oh, God. It just was like, that's your vision? You need glasses. It's like, oh my God, you're a bro.
You couldn't tell by that haircut?
I know, but still, it's just, Dane is a fuckboy, and it's just bad.
And he doesn't get any either.
No, he doesn't. Anyway.
Yeah. The Dark Priest says that the underworld can't wait months for a baby to be born, then years for it to grow up. It needs leadership now.
The seer says that she saw the Source's son taking immediate power. Dane laughs and asks how an unborn child can lead the underworld. And the seer says that he can with her help. The Dark Priest asks what she needs from the council, and she asks for a chance to prove her vision is true.
Dane says that she has no right to ask because he was chosen by the leaders. He starts to have a hissy fit about it. And the Dark Priest sides with the seer and looks very thoughtful. And he's like, yeah, but you don't have, like, any kind of direct lineage to the Source. So, like...
by blood or magic.
Yeah. Which is an interesting type of inheritance, I have to say.
Yeah.
For this, I would say it's more interesting that blood would inherit. Less interesting that magic, because, like, all we've known of the Source is, they tried to defeat him, and he just went into another body.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The Dark Priest gives the seer until that night to bring the Source's heir, or the throne is going to go to Dane. The seer and Dane just kind of share an unpleasant look at each other, and we pop over to the doctor's appointment.
Phoebe is, of course, laying on one of those reclining tabley bits.
She's now in a blue hospital gown.
Yep. And there's a white blanket on her lap. Piper is standing beside the doctor, who's looking at Phoebe's chart.
The doctor, who we will learn eventually, is named Dr. Harris. is played by Aaron Lustig. He was born in Rochester, New York in 1956, and he has 137 acting credits so far, starting back in 1984.
Dr. Harris is saying that Phoebe's hormone levels are unusually high for someone who's only 8 weeks pregnant, and asks if she's seen a doctor since finding out. She doesn't fucking lie, and just says that she was under the care of a seer.
And Piper, like, the doctor kind of looks at her and then looks at Piper, and she goes, it's kind of like a new age doctor.
I would have said midwife.
Right? I'd have been like...
Doula.
Doula,
Like
yeah,
that.
like something. But I don't think doula was a big thing back then.
In San Fran, though?
Yeah, I don't think
No,
so.
I think it would have been well known enough in San Fran.
I don't know if it was back then, though.
Well, maybe not to, like, TV audiences, but,
Yeah.
like, a midwife?
A midwife,
Everyone
yeah,
knows
but
what
a
midwife
doula,
is.
not so much.
Yeah, but, like, it's super easy to go, it's like a midwife or a doula kind of a thing.
Yeah. Anyway, Dr. Harris says that she should have seen a real doctor, which... I'm just gonna let that slide.
It's not homeopathy, it's just, a midwife.
Uh-huh. Phoebe asks if he thinks that something is wrong with her baby, and he tells her to lie back so he can do an ultrasound, warning that the gel is going to be cold, and then squirt some gel on Phoebe's tummy. Now, in this instance, they're talking about an obstetric ultrasound, which is a diagnostic imaging technique that uses sound waves to create real-time visual images of a developing embryo or fetus in the womb.
And this is not the only method of obstetric ultrasound. There's also a transvaginal.
Yeah, that...
I mean, honestly, I don't understand all the hype about it.
It's just a camera up your hoo-ha. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
But...
Like, it's just, a wand.
Yeah. Like, it's...
It gets well lubed.
Thanks for that imagery.
Yeah. It's honestly better than a speculum, so...
Well, yeah. Anyway, Dr. Harris and Piper turn away for a split second.
To look at the screen, I presume.
Yeah. And flames shoot out of Phoebe's head. She gasps and then the flames disappear. Piper asks what's wrong, and she says that she had a very, very hot flash. Which is just one of my favorite line deliveries ever.
Uh-huh. Dr. Harris says that's not a good sign to Piper. And Piper is like, oh yeah, she's been getting them a lot lately. And then Phoebe's like, this one felt very literal and kind of gives Piper a look.
Like my head was on fire.
Yeah. And Dr. Harris starts the ultrasound and the baby shows up on the screen.
And it's a very tiny...
It's a cashew.
It's
a
little
cashew.
blip on the screen. It's not a whole lot of anything because it's only 2 weeks long.
It was 8.
Or 8 weeks long. Sorry. 2 months is what I meant.
Yes. She's still in the first trimester.
Yeah.
It's not going to look like a baby until partway through the second trimester anyway.
Yeah.
At this point, it doesn't even have a heart. Like, it has cardiac tissue and there's like motion but that they can detect, but like there's not an actual heart. There's also no circulatory system, there are no lungs, there's no brain, there's barely even a spinal column at this point.
Yeah.
Researching fetal development is actually really fun. You get to see all of the teeny, like, you get to see it go from like a little pea to a cashew to looking kind of like a fish and then to looking like a baby. That Body Works exhibit, the one where they have like all of the bodies that are like completely defleshed, and so it's like all the veins or like the bones or like the nerves or whatever. They have a room that's like literally just, it's all fetuses all around. It's fun.
Okay. Note to self, don't go there. Anyway.
It's a traveling thing. It's not coming back into town for a while.
Okay. So, doctor starts to point out the baby when he gets electrocuted by the
ultrasound wand.
ultrasound
like
wand.
Through her stomach.
Yeah.
And he gets thrown
against
the
a wall. Piper goes over to him, helps him up. He asks what happens.
She says that's a good question and freezes him. And this is not an in-post freeze. It's literally he just stops moving. And he's very good at that.
He's very, very good at it. Phoebe says that it's about time she froze him, mentioning that her head was like a tiki torch a moment ago. Now, a tiki torch, the most common style of tiki torch is a bamboo stick that has a container of flammable liquid at the top and a wick to be lit. And tiki, all caps, is a brand of torches that has been common in the U.S. since the 1950s. But the original tiki torches originated from tiki culture, quote unquote, which is actually something that started in California in the 1930s. Tiki culture is what these days would probably be called cultural appropriation.
Oh, definitely.
It basically consists of all things, all sorts of things taken from the cultures of Hawaii and Polynesia and Oceania. And, it's all viewed through a Hollywood lens.
Yeah.
So it's all, over the top.
Like the tiki room at Disney.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's all over the top and crazy and whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, Piper tells Phoebe not to change the subject and asks if her baby just electrocuted, quote-unquote, the nice doctor man.
Yeah.
Phoebe's like, I think so. But, that gel was really cold.
Yeah, he was just protecting himself because the gel was really cold.
Uh-huh. Yeah, she's rationalizing this.
Yep. Piper says that unborn babies don't perform magic tricks in the first trimester. Phoebe asks what's going on, and Piper tells her not to panic. She says they need to finish there, then go home and panic. Which was great. Yeah. I love that as well.
We cut over to the manor. Paige and Leo are in the attic, and Paige is now wearing a pink hoodie over her vest.
And it's very funny because the pink hoodie is, just slightly longer than the shortest part of the vest, so there's that one little gray triangle sticking out the bottom.
Yep.
It was just very funny looking for me.
Yeah, they have the book open to the Seer page in the Book of Shadows. Lovely little watercolor of her.
Lovely picture.
And Paige reads that the Seer has served multiple sources and has been around for thousands of years.
Piper and Phoebe walk in, and we can now see Phoebe is wearing an orange tank top that has slightly ruffled sleeves and a flower applique on the left side, paired with what looks to be a floor-length denim-paneled skirt with exposed seams.
I wasn't entirely sure that was denim. It moved too fluidly.
Denim can move fluid if it's thin enough.
It felt like it was a print less than a denim. Like it was printed to look like denim or something.
That could be. But it was definitely exposed seams on the panels.
Oh yes, that much I agree with.
Yeah. And it was...
Also, I'd hesitate to call that a tank top, because, they were almost sleeves.
Well, I mean, it was a tank top style with a slightly thicker sleeve.
It was just like an abbreviated cap sleeve, really.
Yeah.
It really straddled that line between shirt and tank top, is what I'm saying.
Yes, I will give you that.
Leo asks what's going on, and Phoebe's like, oh, my baby did magic.
Piper says it almost killed the doctor.
Phoebe's like, that was self-defense. And Paige is like, that's what you get when you breed with the source of all evil.
Phoebe asks that she not use the term breed because she's not a horse. And I started giggling. Because, there's a slur in the gay community.
Right.
That straight people are breeders.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it makes me laugh so hard. Because oh, they've been reduced to horses.
I mean, I would come with dogs.
That too, but,
Yeah.
Anyway.
She also reminds them that Cole was part good, and she's all good, so the baby has a lot of good in him.
Yeah. Which, it's interesting to me that in this moment, she's like, Cole was partially good, and I'm all good. You've gone evil twice.
Yes, but remember,
saying.
The thing with Phoebe is that she doesn't have an evil bone in her body. Yeah. And they keep fucking saying that.
Yep.
So we've got to take it as gospel at this point, right?
And yet. Yep. Piper, of course, questions her, and Phoebe says that her love was able to save Cole, so it'll be able to save their son.
Piper hopes that's true. Phoebe says they'll make it true, and then asks what they found out about the Seer.
Paige says that she's immune to spells and charms, but she's classified as an upper-level demon.
Leo says that this means they can make a vanquishing potion, and Piper says that they need a tissue sample. Phoebe then drops the absolute bomb of all bombs, and she's like, oh yeah, she mixed her blood into my prenatal tonic. And everyone looks disgusted as fuck.
Piper replies the best. Nasty. Phoebe agrees.
Yeah.
I love how we do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Phoebe agrees and mentions that Cole kept extra in the safe at the penthouse.
Paige asks if she's ready to go back there, as she hasn't been there since Cole, died. And Phoebe's like, I don't think I'll ever be ready, but I can't keep borrowing your clothes.
So that says that this shirt and skirt combo is supposed to be Paige's.
Which, honestly, I can see, but also it could be Phoebe's. Like,
I could maybe see the shirt, but I could not see Paige in that skirt.
Paige has owned long skirts before.
Just for the length of the skirt in the height. It is a floor-length skirt on Phoebe. Therefore, it would be just under floor length on Paige, because Paige is a little taller.
Yeah.
I just can't see... I can't see it.
I don't know. I think she could work it.
I mean, I'm sure she could, but I don't know. It's one of those where, like, she's saying that it's Paige's clothes, but I don't see it as Paige's style.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's not quirky enough.
This is true. It's not like a vest.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. They start to head out. Phoebe asks if Paige does need to get to work, and Paige is like, I'll take the afternoon off.
Who needs vacation time? Phoebe starts to say that Paige can't keep taking time off work, and Paige interrupts her to say that she can. Phoebe thanks her, and as she starts to walk off, she stops, turns around, calls Paige a bitch, and pushes her. And Paige goes flying through the attic window, which has stained glass panels, and is at the front of the house, just as Daryl is walking on the pavement below, a la convenience. Hello, perfect timing. He ducks as he is showered with bits of wood and clear glass. There's no colored glass to be seen. Just putting that out there.
Mm-hmm.
As Paige is falling, she orbs out and orbs back into the attic.
She asks Phoebe what the hell that was for as she unzips her hoodie, and we do see some colored glass like fall out from between her hoodie and her vest.
Yeah.
And she's just like brushing herself off. And Phoebe's like, you'd have to ask him, and then looks at her stomach.
And half a second before we get to Piper's best line, I think it's very interesting that they had Paige in this pink hoodie just so that they didn't get her covered in glass. Because there's no other reason that she would have put on this hoodie.
Well, also, it's not glass, really.
No, I know, but like, she gets literally the only reason this hoodie is an a la convenience. So that they don't have to, like, have her skin covered in glass.
Yeah,
because
probably.
Her skin is covered by the hoodie, and so therefore she doesn't get cut up by all of the glass she just got pushed through. Just saying. Mm. So Phoebe says she have to ask the baby, and Piper's line is the best. Why did your mommy push Paige out the window?
Phoebe's like, I had no control. The baby took over for a split second. And Paige wonders why it went after her, since she has nothing against that little fetus.
Yeah.
Hello, neighbor Dan.
We're gonna talk over it.
Uh-huh.
Phoebe says that she's sure he's sorry, and then lifts her shirt so we can see her completely flat stomach. She asks the baby if he's sorry, and then laughs and saying, kids these
that age
don't know any better.
Which is hilarious and true.
Yeah.
Leo says that he should check in with the elders and find out what they know, and then he orbs out.
I don't know why, but I just love the way that he goes. He's like, man, I should find out what they know about the baby.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first time that I, like, noticed the slight cut that they did. Because Piper is, like, about to say a word. And when because they fade, because of green screen technology. Yeah. She pauses where she's at. They pull him out, and then she continues what she was saying. And it was just enough of a, like, she moved just slightly.
Yeah.
That I could tell, and I noticed it because I happened to be paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't pull me out, which is good.
Yeah.
Because it was like...
Well, just like when she freezes someone and they do it in the room.
Yeah.
And maybe the person, like, sways a little bit because they're not completely still, but they don't, like, blink or anything. I'm just like, that's good. That's good. Like, I never get pulled out when I see movement in the Frozen people. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, oh, hey.
Yeah. No, the only time I've ever laughed so hard at the Frozen people was in the bar with the kid with the glass. Like, ah! Still makes me laugh every time.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, Piper says whatever's happening, she's sure it has something to do with the seer, and they head out of the attic to go get the blood.
As they walk down the attic stairs, Daryl meets them, asking, and we can hear, like, the door, when they head for the door, we can hear the front door open, and then somehow they're going down the stairs and Daryl's already upstairs.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's asking them what happened, if it was flying practice.
Paige says the baby shoved her out the window.
Daryl's like, I left 4 messages. Have none of you heard of the magic of a telephone?
Piper says that it's been a rough week. Daryl asks Phoebe how she's holding up, and she replies that it depends on the time of day.
Yeah. Daryl says he knows they've got a lot to deal with, but there's some business that can't be put off any longer.
Piper says it can't be any more urgent than the demon that's after Phoebe, and they make their way into the foyer. Daryl says that Cole worked at a high-profile law firm, and they're the only ones who know he's dead.
Meaning them 3.
Yes.
Well, and him.
Yes.
So they all put on their coats. Phoebe's got
in
white, Paige in blue, Piper in tan. Paige says that they need to get to the penthouse, and Daryl's like, well, great, because, I mean, that's where we need to do this, so let's go.
Yeah. They all head out. We cut over to the penthouse, and we see there's still the black stain on the floor.
Yeah, the char mark.
Yeah. And the windows are still broken and busted.
Yeah.
And yet the apartment still looks great.
Yep.
Even though the windows have been open apparently for a week.
No rain.
Yep.
Anyway, they all walk in. Daryl tells them that they have to make it look like Cole left in a hurry by packing up all of his stuff.
Piper asks Phoebe if she's okay. Phoebe says she's fine, and then asks Daryl to clarify.
He tells her that he made an appointment for her at Missing Persons, which Paige questions, and he explains that if Phoebe doesn't report Cole as missing, she'll become the prime suspect in his disappearance, because someone else is going to notice he's gone.
Phoebe asks if he wants her to make it look like Cole left her. Daryl says that they can't give the cops any reason to suspect foul play, even if they technically killed him.
And then he turns and notices the black char mark on the floor, and he's like, what's that? And Piper's like, oh, that's where we, did it.
Yeah. Daryl looks around and realizes that the place looks like a crime scene and asks if there's anything they can do. So Paige immediately says the spell that she has used a few times before to make the scene unseen. The stain disappears, the room returns to normal, everything is back to gorgeous and whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's, again, one of those moments where I was like, is there no personal gain in this somehow? Because...
well, Paige is doing it for Phoebe.
I guess so.
She's not doing it for herself.
All right. Sure.
Phoebe thanks her, and Paige moves closer and says she wishes she could make the rest of Phoebe's pain go away that easily. And Phoebe kind of like nods and replies that she does too. And then there's a beat, and then she goes, murdering witch, and just like smacks Paige in the face with her forearm.
Yep. Paige goes falling to the floor. Piper yells at Phoebe. Phoebe blames the baby.
Well, okay, I love this shot because she turns around and we get a shot of her, like, kind of, like, hunched shoulders with Daryl right behind her. And she's like, the baby made me do it.
Yeah, it was adorable. Piper says they should split up, sending Phoebe and Daryl to pack while she and Paige find the tonic.
And then Daryl has my favorite line of the fucking episode.
Best line ever.
He asks, where is this baby they keep talking about? Is it invisible? Am I gonna step on it?
Yeah, I started laughing so hard.
It's such a Daryl line. He has no clue.
Amazing. And then in ADR, as they're walking into the bedroom, Phoebe's like, no, it's more complicated than that. Paige asks Piper if she's the only one who's worried about that thing growing inside Phoebe. Piper says she's not, but that the seer is their first priority.
Paige then finds the safe behind a painting that's right next to the front door.
Yeah.
And Piper's like, how do we get it open? Like, not even Phoebe knows the combination. And Paige is like, here, orbs it into her arms.
Yep, she calls for the safe door. It orbs into her arms, and she does a very good job of mimicking the, oh god, all of a sudden there's a heavy thing in my arms. It was very nicely done.
Yeah.
She puts the safe door on the floor, and what does she say? Like, if there's a financial crisis, I'm good in a pinch, kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
It's like, I come in handy. It was very funny. Piper realizes that there's no tonic in the safe.
She does, however, find an envelope with Phoebe's name on it, written in Cole's handwriting.
Paige asks if it's from Cole the human or Cole the source, And Piper says that Phoebe's going to have to be the one to find out.
Yep. And she kind of tucks it, like, into her either back pocket or back of her pants.
I'm assuming back pocket.
I'm assuming back pocket, too, but, like, I don't know how big her back pockets are.
Yeah.
In the bedroom, Phoebe is showing Daryl that giant white teddy bear with the red bow that Cole gave her the day he found out she was pregnant. And Daryl's like, I'll pack Cole's things while she gets her own stuff. And I'm just wondering, fingerprints, bro? Like, are you going to wipe everything? Because that's going to look weird.
Well, but I think what it is if he's grabbing Cole's stuff, it doesn't matter if his prints are on it because he's picking up Cole's stuff.
But he's touching all of the drawers and shit.
I mean...
Now, I know, like, he's probably going to be like, yeah, I already checked. But, like, in the moment, I'm just like, you didn't, like, explain that you touching everything in the apartment was not going to look suspicious,
I mean...
to her later. Like,
yes, but...
I would worry about that.
And
He was the one who obsessed about all of the fingerprints at the crime scene when Cole and
jewelry
Phoebe got
store.
possessed.
I know. See, and the funniest part is, for me, my thought on this is, okay, I understand the packing all of Cole's things. Where are they going to take them? What, are they going to have Paige orb them out to Fiji? Where, like, what is going to happen here? But even more so, it's, okay, I'll get Cole's things while you pack your stuff. Why? Like...
Make it look like she was going to spend a little time at her sister's, and that's why she didn't notice that he was gone.
That's the only thing I can think of. Is like they're trying to make it like, well, you know, we got into a fight and so I packed a bag and left.
Yeah.
And when I came back a week later, he was gone.
Yeah.
But like,
because it is a little weird if that she would. I mean, it's not very weird, but it's a little weird. Like, had a fight, go stay with sisters, don't come back for a week. Like, that's a bit odd.
When you're a newlywed who's pregnant. Yeah.
And you're expecting that your husband will be at work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little convoluted.
Weird. So, you know, retroactively, like, yeah, I packed a bag and I left and I didn't come back for a week because I needed time to cool down. Yeah. Like, that makes more sense. But,
yeah.
Anyway. Phoebe turns to presumably a closet door, opens it, and a portal to the Sears cave opens and tries to pull her in.
Yeah, she starts to get sucked in. Daryl immediately makes it from the other end of the room.
Around the
bed, grabs her legs, and starts yelling for her sisters.
And there's random pieces of paper, like, flying around.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
Because, you know, how else are we going to show...
wind.
Yeah, wind and portal.
Anyway, the seer walks up to Phoebe. I love this shot of just, like, Phoebe with her, like, front half in the cave. Because she's not flailing her arms. They're out.
Yeah.
But she's pretty stationary.
Yeah.
And there's, like, no wind there.
Yeah.
There's only wind in the apartment.
Yeah. It was a little funny.
Uh-huh. And it's clear, like, they've got her on a thing where she's just, like, laying down and... You know, maybe someone's holding her legs down so she doesn't overbalance. But, like, she's not in motion at all.
Yep. The seer says she's been waiting for Phoebe. Phoebe says she can't have him, meaning the baby. The seer says she wants what's hers. And Daryl yells again.
Piper and Paige run in and try to pull Phoebe back in. Phoebe yells at the seer to let go of her and then grabs the seer's nice big dangly earring and rips it off. And we get a little close-up. That happening.
It was painful.
It was very obviously fake ear.
Yes, but I have seen that happen in real life.
Yeah.
And it is not...
No, it's not
It's
fun.
not pretty.
Also, it generally wouldn't take much of your ear with you.
No, it wouldn't have pulled off her ear the way it did. It would have just ripped through.
It was
her
a
ear.
bit of a B horror movie kind of effect.
Yeah, because I have
Ash versus Evil Dead.
I have seen an earring rip an ear, and it doesn't take much of the ear with it at all.
No.
It just kind of rips through.
Yeah, it's like a really dull cheese wire.
Because I knew people in the circus, or well, it wasn't exactly the circus. It was Fright Fest at Great America.
Mm-hmm.
It was the freak show.
Christopher.
I miss Fright Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the girls are able to pull...
The girls and Daryl.
Yeah, the girls and Daryl are able to pull Phoebe back into the room. The portal closes, and Phoebe is on her hands and knees, panting, as she holds the earring up and hands it to Piper, saying, "Here's your tissue sample." And we go to commercial break. Man.
We come back to the kitchen in the manor with Piper and Paige. Paige is at the kitchen island making the potion. Piper picks up a plate of fruit to bring to Phoebe and tells Paige to stay in the kitchen so she doesn't provoke the baby anymore.
Paige is like, "Provoke him? It's not my fault." And Piper's like, "You know what I mean." And she leaves the room. And she walks into the dining room where Phoebe is sitting in a chair, holding earphones against her stomach. And Piper asks what she's doing. And Phoebe says that she's playing Mozart for the baby to bring out his peaceful nature, because studies show that babies can hear and remember songs from the womb. Now, Mozart is, of course, the Austrian composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He was born in 1756 and died in 1791 at the age of 35.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not really going to tangent on him, but I found it fascinating that out of his 6 children, only 2 survived infancy.
And I find it fascinating that you keep forgetting that Salzburg is in Austria, not Germany.
Yeah, my brain is stupid. You know. His kids, the only 2 that survived infancy, his second son, Karl Thomas Mozart, made it to the ripe old age of 74.
Oh, yeah.
He was born in 1784 and made it to 1858. His 6th child and 4th son, Franz Xaver Wolfgang Mozart, who was born just 5 months before his father died, made it just past his 53rd birthday. He was born in 1791 and died in 1844. So the second kid lasted the longest. He got to see his entire family die.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
neither of his sons had children, so Mozart's family line died with them.
Well, that I know of.
They never got married and had kids, and so therefore
They never had legitimate children.
yeah, this is true.
Who knows if they were fuckboys or not? I mean,
Well, I don't know, but I know that Franz was the more famous of the 2.
Mm-hmm.
He actually had like 30 pieces
Yeah.
himself, at least 30 himself. So he was a little more famous. Because he was born 5 months before his father died, he basically became Wolfgang Jr.
Yeah.
And so he was the one who had to carry on the name. So there's
Interesting.
that. Anyway.
Yeah, okay, so there is some truth to what Phoebe says about, babies being able to hear things in the womb. But A, the baby doesn't have ears yet, technically. B, you can hear the Eine kleine Nacht music coming out of those speakers.
Yeah, it was very loud.
The thing about amniotic fluid is that it amplifies sound.
Uh-huh.
So they always tell you to be careful, like, when you're in late term, don't go to, like, loud movies, concerts, whatever,
Yep.
because it will damage the baby's hearing. Because it's like dropping a waterproof speaker in the bathtub while your head is underwater. It's going to ricochet, and it's going to be louder than you think.
This is why they also warn expectant mothers about 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
And my cousin was born on the 4th of July because of the fireworks. Little
And
things.
also, like, concerts, they'll have little baby headphones.
Yes, but those are for babies already born.
I know, but it's super cute to me.
He's adorable.
Because, like, you just get headphones made for babies.
Yes. He's adorable.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Piper tells Phoebe to eat. Phoebe says she's been nauseous all day. Piper quips she's been a little fresh all day. And Phoebe picks up a piece of watermelon.
She kind of, like, leans on the table and, holding the watermelon in one hand, says she's thinking of trying acupuncture. We see the watermelon change into a piece of raw steak.
Yeah. Now, acupuncture is a form of alternative medicine, which involves needles, and is basically a pseudoscience. I'm not going to tangent on it because needles give me anxiety, so you can just read the wiki for yourself. This episode is a lot of...
You uncomfortable?
Yeah. Phoebe goes to take a bite of the meat. Piper catches her before she does and gets her to drop it, literally holding her wrist and forcing her to drop it. I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, Phoebe says she's going to puke, and Piper wonders if the baby wouldn't prefer listening to Ozzy.
She is, of course, talking about Ozzy Osbourne, the lead singer for the band Black Sabbath. I'm not going to tangent on him either because I just don't have the energy. But as always, links on the website.
Leo then orbs in visual frame right between them, and tells them that the elders think the seer is making a play for the Source's throne, but needs Phoebe's baby to do it. Phoebe wonders why, since her baby isn't due for another 7.5 months. And Piper's like, we'll be ready for her next time.
Leo questions this, and Piper says, oh yeah, this seer tried to steal Phoebe from the penthouse. No big deal. And then she calls to Paige to ask about the potion. Paige walks into the room holding a very large pot, saying that it's done, it just needs to cool.
And then Phoebe throws a fire at Paige, who drops the saucepan, and the flame hits the wall. Does not leave damage, though.
It left like a little soot mark, but not much.
It is a soot mark they did in post.
Yeah, it was a CG black mark. This is the funniest thing. Paige says that the baby needs a serious timeout. Piper shoos her back into the kitchen, and then Leo kneels down to look at the pot on the floor, and we are shown an insert shot of the pot upside down on the rug, and some wilted flower petals scattered around. No liquid of any kind.
And the rug is completely dry.
Yep.
Paige asks from the kitchen why the baby only attacks her.
Phoebe says that he must resent her because she didn't like his father. Paige says that she had good reason, and then says that maybe Phoebe is the one who resents her and the baby is just modeling after mom. Phoebe asks how Paige can say that, and then Piper jumps in to lay down some rules.
Because she is at the cross-section of the kitchen and the dining room.
Yeah.
So she tells them not to talk to each other, not to even be in the same room together until further notice. Piper then asks Paige if she's got enough ear left to make more potion. Paige says she does. And then Piper tells Phoebe to check the Book of Shadows to see if there's a way to control Chucky, and she gestures at Phoebe's stomach.
Yeah. That is, of course, a reference to the serial-killing baby doll from the Child's Play movies that started in the late 80s.
Not a baby, it was a toddler, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess it was a toddler doll, but
because it was wearing overalls.
Yes. Whatever. It was a serial killer doll.
Yeah.
From the Child's Play movies that started in the late 80s. Now, I apologize to those of you who love our random tangents, but this episode is just full of shit that I don't want sitting in my brain right now. So, I will only mention that they've apparently done a remake of Child's Play.
Yep.
That just came out in June 2019.
And guess what? Mark Hamill voices Chucky.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I mean, he's good.
Yeah.
Oh, he's also in the new Dark Crystal movie.
There's a new Dark Crystal movie?
It's going to be a prequel. And the voice cast came out.
Interesting.
And they showed photos of the cast and also the characters that they're playing. And it's really funny because a bunch of comedians are playing Skrexus. Like, okay, so I saw Eddie Izzard. I don't think he's playing a Skrexus, but I could be wrong. For anyone who doesn't know, Dark Crystal is a movie from, I think, the early 90s, late 80s.
Should be 80s.
And there are these creatures that look like vultures called Skrexus, and there are creatures that look similar to them. I forget what they're called.
82.
Dark Crystal. It's Jim Henson, so puppets. Very good. Definitely holds up. Yeah. Yes, and the two names that broke me were right at the end, because I did see Eddie Izzard, I saw Simon Pegg, I saw Keegan-Michael Key, which I was like, I get it, he's been in like more serious stuff lately, this makes sense. And then right at the end, it was Awkwafina and Andy Samberg, and I was just like, wait, what?
Simon Pegg is in it.
Yep.
Sigourney Weaver is in it.
Benedict Wong. Who else?
Jason Isaacs is in it.
Yes, he is.
Natalie Dormer is in it.
Harvey Fierstein.
Oh my goodness. Helena Bonham Carter.
There's a lot of good shit. But yeah, Awkwafina and Andy Samberg was what broke me, like, in a good way.
Nice.
But it's all going to be Henson Company again. There's a teaser trailer that we are not going to watch now.
No.
But y'all can look it up.
Very, very interesting. I will put the IMDb link for that at like the very end.
Oh, please do.
Of of the notes just because.
But yeah, I'm
it's
excited.
Fascinating.
I'm super excited.
I'll put Dark Crystal there too.
Oh yeah, Taron Egerton too. I think he's playing the main character.
I really have to watch Dark Crystal again. It's been so long since I've seen it.
I believe I have it.
Interesting. Anyway, back to this.
Actually, no, I know I have it because I know I bought it because I realized I didn't have it. And I was like, this movie is so, like, deeply ingrained in my subconscious that when I watched it again as an adult, I was like, I had no idea where these images in my head were coming from. Apparently, it was this movie. I watched it when I was so little.
Yeah.
And, like, it just kind of boiled into the cosmic background radiation of my brain.
I know that I've seen Dark Crystal.
The first time I saw Poltergeist.
I know that I've seen Dark Crystal, but I think I was like 8 when I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, been 30 years.
And also you have a much worse memory than me.
Yeah. And it was my childhood, therefore I've blocked most of it out.
This is true.
So, yeah.
Was this pre or post truck? You said you were 8.
What do you mean?
Didn't you get hit by a truck when you were 8?
Oh. Yeah.
She forgot about that too.
Yeah. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's Perry truck. Perry trucular.
Sure.
That's around.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know the Latin.
Yeah.
Pre, post, and peri. Yes. Oh, pausal.
Yes.
Or menstrual.
Yeah.
The three P's.
Anyway, Phoebe says that she's supposed to meet Daryl in 30 minutes. Leo strongly advises against that due to, the baby. But Phoebe says that everything should be fine as long as he, quote, doesn't feel threatened and doesn't meet anyone with unresolved issues with his father.
She yells this last part out, and we can hear an ADR Paige saying from the kitchen, I heard that!
Piper wonders why Phoebe would risk going into public in her condition.
It was a good, like, I'm not sure if it was particularly written that way, but it felt like it would have been, but, like, the line delivery of that, because she was clearly gonna say, with that thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And she goes, in your condition.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Phoebe reminds her that somebody needs to report Cole missing before, anybody else does, and she can't let Daryl down when he's putting himself on the line for her. What a concept.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to actually be nice to Daryl for once.
Yeah, right.
Piper gives in, but has Leo go with Phoebe in case of trouble. What's Leo gonna do?
Mm-hmm. And she goes to look in the Book of Shadows for anything to deal with demonic fetuses.
Yeah.
Down in the underworld, the seer appears in what is apparently the Source's dungeon. She walks past a few very poorly lit groaning individuals with some lanky-ass hair. Probably key grips. And over to a giant demon sitting in a cage.
Now,
This guy. I love this guy.
Yes. This actor is Karel Stuyken?
Struyken, I think.
He was born in the Netherlands in 1948. He has 20 acting credits. That's it. Which the most recognizable ones would probably be as Lurch from the Addams Family movies from the 90s, as Fidel from the 1987 movie The Witches of Eastwick, or, as Kendra and I both recognize him immediately,
Mr. Hom!
Yep, Star Trek The Next Generation.
AKA the best steward Loxana Troy has ever had.
Yeah.
The fandom of Star Trek has a rather love-hate relationship with Loxana. My personal relationship with her is, this is what it would have been like between me and my mother if it was better.
Yes. I think we've had this conversation before.
Yes.
Possibly on
Pretty
the podcast.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Mr. Hom is just some great... He never talks. Yeah. He never fucking talks. And it's the best. Because he'll just, like, be there, or he'll be at, like, the dinner and, like, bang the gong every time Loxana takes a bite. Or he'll just be carrying what are supposed to be insanely heavy bags and then hand them off to Picard.
Yeah.
He's just great. Or he'll be picking flowers. Very gentle giant.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. He was also in Twin Peaks.
I never watched it, so.
Mm-hmm. He's pretty well known from that, as I recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your word on it.
Mm-hmm.
The seer tells him that she has an offer for him.
Oh, before we get to that, right as she approaches him, she does this great little, physical thing where she brushes the fake spider webs off of the thing, and it was just, a nice little, motion, and I loved it.
Mm.
And when we're having this entire scene, clearly they shot it from one angle and went to shoot it from the reverse angle and realized that they couldn't get the right frame in because when they're shooting from over her shoulder, she's wiped off one of the squares, and that's what she's looking through, and that's what you see his face through. But on the reverse, we see her face through a completely different square that's totally occluded in the first shot.
Yeah.
And this just keeps happening. Just keeps happening.
Yep.
It's hilarious to me.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's also, been moved in the frame from over his shoulder because she's probably standing in the same place, but, he's not looking through the same square that she's looking through.
Right.
At all.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so she tells him that she has an offer for him. He asks if she's dead, damned, or desperate.
And she replies, desperate, and needs his power. He almost forgot that he had a power. He hasn't used it in centuries. He's been sentenced to spend eternity alone in this cage, info-dumping at people.
Yes.
The seer then...
Exposition time.
Yes. The seer comments on the cage, and the giant says, again, info-dumping, that the source had it forged from unbreakable magic and nothing can escape it. And she's like, oh yeah, I do good work.
Yeah, this was some of my best work. And that seems to perk his interest. And she says that, yep, I made your cage. My magic's the only thing that has the power to free you. He says that the source would never allow it. And she's like, ha, the source is dead. I can give you the freedom that you want as long as you're willing to help me.
So he asks what she wants. And she says that she wants him to capture and contain a charmed one.
And he replies, a charmed what? Which was great because, he's been in the cage for centuries, so he has no idea what that is.
Mm-hmm.
She explains that it's a powerful witch that she needs to be brought down into the underworld.
And she says that it shouldn't be hard for him because he's a demon who has swallowed worlds. And then asks if he's interested. He, of course, smiles and gets to his feet. Now, this cage is, maybe 5'6" in the main height. And then it's, got a little bit of a pyramid on top.
Yeah.
And let's just say Carol is
Very
much
tall.
taller than 5'6". He is a very, very tall man.
He is so very tall. He is, in fact, 7 feet tall.
7 fucking feet tall.
That is 2.13 meters for those people who use meters.
For those people who use the sensible system of measurement.
Hey,
Although I will say, doesn't make as much of an impact in songs.
No. It's a little harder to rhyme and
Yeah.
with the numbers. Anyway, so he kind of stands up, but he's still having to bend because, he's 7 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
He tells her to get him out. She reminds him that her magic put him into the cage, so any betrayal from him, and he goes right back in. Which was kind of, I had this thought, it was a kind of a parent going, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it.
Oh, I hate when they do that.
I hate it too, because it's are you threatening me with murder? Let me just call the cops real quick.
Yep.
You have just threatened my life.
Yes.
Anyway.
We jump over to Phoebe and Leo walking into the police station.
Leo has added a jacket to his outfit that's a muddy purple color.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the only scene that he wears a jacket. And it was just kind of weird looking.
Yeah.
Because, the rest of his clothes under the jacket are baggier than the jacket.
Yeah.
So it's just making him look a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Phoebe holds her stomach and whispers to the baby that if he's good, she'll eat a tri-tip tonight.
That's, of course, a very large triangle-shaped cut of beef.
Daryl walks over them and tells Phoebe that she's going to be talking to Inspector Miles, mentioning that he's trained to spot liars, and then tells her to answer questions as honestly as possible.
They walk into a room and are met with the inspector. He is played by Nicholas Casconi. He has 45 acting credits between 1986 and 2006, and no picture on IMDb, but he looked very familiar to me.
Yeah.
Kind of that guy.
Mm-hmm. Inspector Miles tapping a pen, says that Daryl said she thinks her husband might have left town, and she replies, I don't know what to think. He left the week before after a huge battle.
Yeah.
Miles asks if he left anything, and Daryl pops in at this point to say, I checked the penthouse myself, everything was gone.
Miles asks what the fight was about. Phoebe says that her sisters, she has 2 sisters, didn't approve of her marrying Cole. He asks why not, and she says they're just different and compares them to oil and water, fire and ice, heaven and
hell, he finishes. Miles asks if she thinks her husband has a dark side. She replies in the affirmative, and then he asks if Cole ever hurt her.
Suddenly, some books fall off of a shelf above him, landing on his head. He stands up, looks around. Daryl is like, oh my god, are you okay? And Leo gets up to help pick stuff up. And Phoebe looks down at her stomach, tells the baby to stop it, and then advises the inspector that while Cole might not be a great guy, he probably shouldn't say anything negative about him at this time.
Miles, of course, in the middle of picking up books, kind of like shrugs, and he's like, yeah, you turn up pregnant, he takes off. It's a classic deadbeat dad profile. And then a fireball appears in Phoebe's hands just as Miles turns back to, like, continue picking up stuff off the floor.
And Phoebe, like, turns around trying to hide her hand. Leo whispers for her to put it out. She replies that she can't put it out.
And there's, you can see the absolutely fake glow it's painting on her.
Yeah,
like, it's a completely irregular edge.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
But
and so she spots a tiny trash can.
I love, though, that she's literally holding her hand with the fireball in it.
Yeah.
Like, she's trying very hard to not let her hand throw the fireball at the inspector.
Yes.
She finds this trash can and just kind of flings the fireball into the trash can.
It's a fucking miracle that even worked.
Yeah.
But anyway, the trash can lights up. Daryl turns around, immediately says, Phoebe, and then corrects himself and says, and like sees the trash can and then says, fire! I mean fire!
Yeah. Miles tells him to move away as he grabs a fire extinguisher and puts out the fire.
Daryl whispers to Phoebe, asking why she's doing this to him, and she's like, it's not my fault. The baby doesn't like when anyone talks bad about Cole.
And then she grabs her stomach in pain. Miles asks what's wrong. She says that something in her stomach feels like it's tearing, and Leo takes her out of the room.
Back at the manor, Piper is on the phone. She's very upset, even though she's saying she's okay to whoever's on the phone, and that she'll call back to schedule an appointment. Thanks him, hangs up, goes into the kitchen.
Paige has just finished the Seer Vanquishing Potion. It's in a little vial. And asked if Piper found anything in the Book of Shadows about how to control demon spawn.
Piper says that she thought about binding his powers, but that would leave Phoebe without hers. And Paige says she might want to keep that option open because there's something seriously wrong with the baby.
Piper says she knows, but that it doesn't matter because he's part of the family, and he might be the only baby in the Halliwell family.
Paige asks what's going on, and Piper says that she was talking with Dr. Harris and got the results for her fertility tests.
She says that he said something about scar tissue and blunt trauma injuries, asking if she's suffered any serious blows to the abdomen, and that it might be difficult, if not impossible, for her to conceive.
Paige gives her sympathies, and Piper mentions the little girl she saw in the future, saying that she can't imagine not knowing her, and she's not sure what to tell Leo because he's so excited about having a baby.
They then hear the front door open, Leo calls out for Piper, and we hear Phoebe cry out. Piper and Paige race into the foyer, where they...
You stop saying foyer.
I did.
Why
Sorry.
have you stopped that?
I apologize. Where they find Phoebe holding her stomach. Leo tells them she's getting worse.
Piper asks if he can't do something, and he says he tried to heal her, but it didn't work. Phoebe tells them all to stand back, and then her head becomes a tiki torch again.
Yep.
She groans, falls to her knees. Piper tells Paige to stay out of Phoebe's sight for her own safety, so Paige, runs around the corner into the wicker room.
Phoebe begs for it to stop. Piper tells Leo to get some ice water, and Leo runs into the kitchen. Piper holds Phoebe, telling her to just breathe through it, try to breathe through it.
And then Mr. Helm appears.
Yeah. Giant demon appears. Paige calls to Piper to watch out. Piper tries to blow him up, but nothing happens, and she replies with, uh-oh.
I think, there's a very interesting sound when she attempts to blow him up. Kind of like a thunk.
Yeah. It was an interesting audio thing.
Or like a pop or something. I don't know. Anyway, Leo runs back in, yells at the demon, grabs a chair, and throws it at him. And what's really funny to me is that this doesn't look like a chair that they own.
No, it's
way too light. It looks like it's made out of wood that's meant to break apart. But anyway, he throws it at the demon, and it just goes into him. Like, not through him. Doesn't break. It just goes into him with, like, a golden kind of ripple.
Yeah, he kind of...
Like he's a pond.
He kind of lights up in, like, what looked like veins of light.
I'm going to call it a ripple, because basically he's just a portal.
Yes.
And Stargate. So there.
Sure. Piper helps Phoebe get up. Leo warns them not to touch the demon. Demon says that she can't run because he'll always find her. And then Paige runs in.
And she runs in between Phoebe and Mr. Hom and tells her that she'll orb her out. But the baby makes Phoebe kick Paige, which then makes her fall into the demon. The ripple effect happens, but now because he's, like, got a person, he also disappears.
Yeah.
And Phoebe's like, that wasn't me. I can't control the baby. Yep. And we go to commercial break.
Yeah. It was very interesting and a little a la convenience.
It was also extremely telegraphed. Like, oh, anything that goes into... And, Paige, you have to stay out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me guess what's going to happen.
It was the Paige, stay out of Phoebe's sight for your own safety. Leo, don't touch the demon. Paige, here, let me help you, Phoebe. Boom, now I've touched the demon. Like, are you dumb? Why are you so dumb?
Yep.
Why are you so dumb?
This is me, same, but at writers.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No. All of my hatred is at the writers.
You often talk to the characters asking why they're so dumb, though.
But I mean it toward the writers because the writers wrote the characters.
Yes, but you say you directed at the characters.
Yes, because I don't know who the writer is.
Yeah, but why are you blaming the character for that?
I'm blaming the character, not the actor.
That's fair.
And it's the character because of the writers. So, meh. Anyway.
I'm just saying, like, move from second to third person. Then it'll be clearer.
Anyway.
We come back in the attic. Phoebe sitting on the pink couch under a blanket. The Book of Shadows is next to her as Leo orbs in.
And there's a nice little bit of continuity where we can see there's a large piece of wood over the broken window. So it's not like they fixed it automatically. Yep.
Phoebe asks if Leo can sense Paige. He says he can't, and that if she's in the underworld, he wouldn't be able to find her. She says that she'll never forgive herself if something happens to Paige. And then Piper walks in, carrying a glass and a pitcher of what looks to be iced tea.
She asks if Phoebe found anything on the demon. Phoebe says that she thinks she has, and Piper puts down the pitcher and the glass and looks at the book. We learned that the giant's body serves as a portal to other dimensions, but no one knows his name or if he's even real, since he's been imprisoned for centuries. Phoebe continues, reading that there's no known vanquish for him, and that the source was so threatened, he condemned the giant to spend eternity in a cage.
Leo, of course, realizes that the seer must have set him free to capture Phoebe, and Phoebe says he got Paige instead thanks to her. Piper's like, oh, that wasn't your fault, then ask how she's feeling.
Phoebe says that she's better, and she thinks that the baby is resting, as it hurts the most when he's actively using magic.
Piper offers her some of the iced tea to cool off, and Phoebe goes to have a sip, and then throws the glass across the room.
Piper jumps up and hides behind Leo, which I thought was the best thing.
Mm-hmm. And we see the contents of the broken glass kind of fizzing on the little creamy rug that it landed on.
Yeah.
And Phoebe's very annoyed. She can't even enjoy some iced tea. And Piper has to spill the beans that it wasn't iced tea. It was a binding potion. Which, come to think of it, this is very similar to How to Make a Quilt Out of Americans. Yep. Where they got iced tea.
Yep.
And
which is, I think, probably
now your powers are gone.
Which is where she got, the idea, I'm sure. To make it look like iced tea. But she mentions that Paige suggested the binding potion as a way to help control the baby, saying that she couldn't tell Phoebe or the baby would have stopped her. And Phoebe's like, yeah, he stopped me anyway.
Yeah, he knows things I don't know, and he's trying to take control of me. And Leo's like, you can't let that happen. If he takes control, he'll never let go.
Phoebe's like, yeah, I'm aware, because she has finally come to the realization that the baby is the source.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
It's got no relation to her, Cole.
Yeah.
It's just a little cashew of evil.
Yes.
It's a little demonic nut.
Yes. Hashtag demonic nut.
I like cashew of evil. You'll crush those up. It'll go on your coleslaw.
Your coleslaw.
Yeah.
That's funny. But I like demonic nut because there's also the double entendre there.
Yeah, but nah.
In the Source's dungeon.
It's definitely a result of a demonic nut.
Exactly. Hence the double entendre. In the Source's dungeon.
Then it becomes a triple entendre, right?
No.
No, because, okay, nut meaning, like, cashew, nut meaning ball sack, and then nut meaning verb of ejaculation. It's a triple entendre.
I mean, I wasn't talking about the ball sack in any of it, but alright.
That's where the nutting happens.
Right, but I wasn't talking about the ball sack.
But that's
I was
where
just talking about the nutting.
That's where the demon semen lives.
Oh, man. In the Source's dungeon.
It only occurred to me now that demon rhymes with semen. Why didn't I realize this earlier?
Oh, man.
Okay, I'll let you start the sentence now.
In the Source's dungeon, Paige is lying in the cage, either asleep or passed out. But she wakes up with a start, seeing the seer standing outside the cage, just watching her.
Paige asks if she's now into some kind of dominatrix thing. And the seer is like, you're not the sister I expected, but you'll do. And Paige is like, I'm sorry, I can't stick around. You're creeping me out. And she tries to orb out of the cage, but instead she turns into the, like, screensaver logo.
Yes.
She bounces around.
She becomes orbs and just bounces about the cage.
And I'm just like, go for the corridor. Just wait until you hit the corridor. That'll get you out.
Yep.
Something will happen. You'll rebound perfectly.
Yes. The seer laughs, saying she's not going anywhere, and Paige reappears, asking if her plan was to trap Phoebe in the cage and fatten her up until she gives birth.
The seer says she doesn't have that kind of patience, and Paige says she's happy to have spoiled her plan. The seer says, oh, dear, you didn't spoil anything. Phoebe will come when she gets my message.
Paige questions her, and then the seer's eyes go white. We get a quick exterior shot of the manor, showing the tree with no leaves, and then we pop into the attic as Phoebe gets a premonition of the seer killing Paige with some sort of power inside.
Some kind of beam.
Yeah, like a beam of light.
That makes Paige catch on fire and explode.
While she's still inside the cage.
Yeah.
Leo asks how she got a premonition without touching anything, and Phoebe says that she isn't sure, but she thinks that the seer sent it to her.
And then Mr. Hom appears, telling Phoebe to come with him or her sister dies, and Piper says something about, oh, not the only thing she sent.
Yeah.
Um,
Phoebe starts to walk toward him. Piper tells her not to. Leo warns that it's a trap. Insert GIF here. But Phoebe says that it's her only chance to save Paige. Leo tries to stop her. Phoebe pushes Leo onto the pink couch. Piper kind of gasps. Leo tells her that she's letting the baby control her.
And she's
Phoebe's
like, that wasn't the baby.
That wasn't the baby, that was me. She's like, I'm going to go get Paige out of the mess that I put her in.
Piper pulls the seer vanquishing potion out of her pocket and does a weird little, like, cackling run. She's like, not if I get there first!
Yeah.
And then a beam of blue fire. Like, it looks like light, but it shoots out Phoebe's hands. It hits the giant, knocks him into a bunch of random boxes.
Yeah,
that were just stacked up right behind him.
Random boxes in the attic.
Stacked up, like, pretty much right in front of the door, too.
Yeah.
Yep. Piper falls to the floor.
Because she was going to jump herself into the giant.
And the potion bottle breaks, and she cuts her hand, and it's just, like, all wet. And sticky.
Leo runs over to Piper. Piper asks if that came from her. And Phoebe says that she can't let Piper take the fall for her. Piper asks why not, and Leo says that she can't use the baby's powers that way.
The giant, now kind of pissed, tells her to come to him, and the blue light comes out of Phoebe's hand again, and he starts burning. Like, she's become a Bunsen burner.
Yeah.
Piper tells her to stop, but the giant gets vanquished, and then Phoebe looks down at her smoking hand.
Piper says that nobody's been able to ever vanquish that demon, and asks if she knows what she's done.
Phoebe's eyes go from like, they do the Source thing, where they like, they go white, flame out, and turn black.
Leo says it's not Phoebe anymore, and then with a completely stoic look on her face, no emotion,
Dead expression.
she flames out.
Yes.
We cut to the dungeon as Phoebe flames in, nipples on alert.
It's cold down there.
Apparently so.
The seer is wearing a new outfit.
Yes,
when we
it's
have
a
never seen her in.
black satin roby dress.
It looks like
thing.
a Final Fantasy cosplay.
A little
A little
bit.
bit, like, without all of the, like, straps and buckles and shit.
Yeah,
but
it just has buttons.
I'm just like, okay, where's my Keyblades? Is she gonna Norda boy? Like, what's happening?
All right. I do not understand that reference, but that's okay.
You've watched the Brian David Gilbert stuff, right? I showed you those. Okay, you need to watch the one where he explains the Final Fantasy timeline.
I think I might have seen, but like,
It's fucking hilarious.
yeah.
I mean, all of his shit is fucking hilarious, but like, I love the phrase, "Nort a boy." You Nort a boy!
Okay. Anyway, so it's a black satiny like robe dress thing.
Like, full fucking length, bell sleeves.
Yep.
Kind of A-line.
Buttons down the center.
Hooded.
Yep.
Like, it's legit a Final Fantasy cosplay.
Sure. The seer says, "Come to me, child."
Paige begs Phoebe to snap out of it, and every time we get a shot of Paige, she's in soft focus for some goddamn reason.
Yeah. The seer takes Phoebe into a circle of candles as she speaks a spell.
And there's, like, white rose petals scattered in said circle as well.
Yep.
And on the altar as well, there are white rose petals.
Phoebe kneels at the seer's command. Paige again begs Phoebe to take control of her body, and the seer continues the spell.
Your body, your choice!
Yeah. The entire spell is, "Let the little children come to me, for the kingdom belongs to such as these. The rose circle represents nature, desire, fertility. Give me strength and give me might to steal a child in still of night. Darkest forces, let it be. Hear my plea, bring life to me."
Is that copied from the transcript there?
And yeah,
Okay. That's the wrong here.
yeah, that,
Sorry, that was just what I focused on. Anyway,
yeah,
it's awkward, it's dumb. Not very specific, so at least there's that going for it.
yep.
Anyway, the spell ends, a light comes out of Phoebe's stomach, goes into the seer, and we hear like a weird kind of wail
Yeah.
that
It's like
it gets Doppler shifted a little bit,
yeah.
as the light goes from Phoebe into the seer.
And then Phoebe's eyes return to normal, and she cries out, "My baby!"
And the seer replies that he was never Phoebe's or Cole's, but from the moment of conception, the baby belonged to her. And then she unbuttons, like, the stomach part of her dress, and we get a nice little bit of body horror, where we see a fake, flat stomach, and someone's, like, knuckle just, like, dragging along it to be, like...
Baby moving
like
around.
the alien from Alien.
Yep. And then we go to commercial break, and I paused for a good 5 minutes to let that horror leave my brain.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Back in the coronation room,
This
Dane,
is
the Dark
my
Priest.
favorite. I don't know why, but this is my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Just this moment, because it's hilariously funny to me.
Yes. Anyway, back in the coronation room, Dane, Dark Priest, all the counselors, they're waiting. Dane says she's missed the deadline. The Dark Priest wants to give her another minute.
And then Dane pouts like a child, saying, "I want my power!" And I legit, like, at that point, I paused, because again, I was like, Dane, you are such a fuckboy.
This was, like, the exact same methodology of, like, movement as that one episode of Star Trek where Captain Picard and a couple of other people get turned into kids. It's called Rascals. I need to rewatch it again because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But, like, he just starts he pretends, like, that Riker... I almost said Dumbledore for some fucking reason. He pretends that Riker is his dad and then just yells about wanting his dad. I want my father. I want my father now. And the Ferengi eventually just, like, take him to him. It's goddamn funny.
Okay. But yeah, Dane acting like a bratty 5-year-old
Yeah.
is just gold.
Yeah, because
I love it. I hate it, but I love it.
When Phoebe and Prue got turned into kids, well, turned sort of into kids, they didn't really act very petulant.
Yeah. But he is absolutely a petulant child in this moment. Oh my god,
it's great. Anyway, just then, the seer flames in, and Dane, not realizing this is not how she makes her usual entrance, is like, hey, where's the source's heir? And so her eyes do the thing. She's like, he's inside me. Yeah. And then everyone but Dane bows their heads. Dane just kind of looks around and he's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. The Dark Priest says that the council has chosen and the seer will be the new source. Dane, of course, again, petulant child, says it's a trick. And the seer then turns and says that she's brought a gift to the council. And the cage appears with Phoebe and Paige up inside of it. Phoebe is able to put her hands outside the cage as she pushes one of the demons away. Just saying...
Well, it only keeps magic out.
Right. Just saying. She can put her hand outside of it. Dane then yells at the seer about bringing the charmed ones into their sanctuary.
The seer, of course, says that no magic can escape that cage.
Jane says she can't be sure of that. And then the seer, in the only time where I've ever been like, yes, you go, girl. She's like, so much negative energy.
And then Bunsen burns him.
Boom! Vanquishes Dane. Ah, it was so nice. Lovely. The Dark Priest asks if the witches are to be the human sacrifice required to seal her coronation. Paige questions Phoebe if she knew that human sac was part of the plan.
Which she should have from the last coronation she attended.
Should have, but you know. The seer says that being the source, starting a new evil order, and killing the charmed ones was all part of her plan from the start. And Phoebe kind of looks terrified and complicit.
Yeah.
In the cage.
And Paige kind of side-eyes her a little bit.
Yeah.
She starts to say something about the council getting rewards and then doubles over in pain.
The Dark Priest asks what's wrong. The seer tells him to start the ceremony. Paige turns to Phoebe and says it looks like she's not having any more luck with that thing than Phoebe was.
And she immediately apologizes for being insensitive, but Phoebe tells her what the seer said, which was that the baby was never hers, and that it always felt like a soulless black hole of evil.
And then Paige...
There's a beat.
And she goes, Phoebe? And Phoebe goes, yeah. And Paige just turns and goes, I told you so. And they both laugh. It was a lovely, cute little callback to earlier. Yeah. I loved that moment.
Paige says she's sorry. Phoebe's like, yeah, I know. And then the Dark Priest asks if the seer is prepared to accept the power and position of the source.
She says that she is. Phoebe asks what they do now, and Paige says that they might have a fighting chance if they had Piper and the power of 3, but laments that the cage is magic-proof.
Phoebe says that the cage is built to keep magic from getting out, but she had a premonition of the seer killing Paige, which means it will let magic in. And then Paige asks if Phoebe remembers that spell to call a lost witch. And which apparently Phoebe and Piper used that, like, not very long ago to try and find Paige after she got taken.
Yeah. So she starts to say the spell. We cut to the attic at the manor as Piper closes the Book of Shadows, frustrated that they've tried everything. Leo is standing in front, pacing from one side of the attic to the other.
I read that, not as Leo paces, but Lee paces.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Thranduil? What?
No. Leo is standing in front, pacing back and forth in the attic. He turns his back toward her, saying there has to be something that they haven't thought of, and then wonders if they can summon a demon who might know the way to the seer's lair. And we hear a sound as he's talking, and by the time he makes it back to the other side of the attic...
And the camera pans
back.
Piper's gone.
Yeah, it's great.
Which, just knowing that this would have happened...
effect.
With Holly, like, the second she's out of frame, someone in the back would have been like, and then out. I love seeing all those like behind the scenes things from like Sense8.
Yeah.
Where they're just like switching people in and out and in and out and like oh and there's that one.
I love behind the scenes stuff.
A movie with Jim Carrey and Ricky Lindholm where he's like a Mr. Rogers kind of esque character. No and clue. there's a scene that's kind of a time lapse with Ricky Lindholm in her like apartment, and it shows like her getting a dog, the dog growing up, renovations happening, like getting plants that grow, and like there's a behind the scenes photo because all of this is done in the one shot, and it's fucking glorious.
Yeah.
And you hear the behind the scenes because it's all like there's music put all over it, so they don't have to like stop from making noise. They can ADR in the dog barking or whatever.
Right.
And you just hear them doing the cues, and there's a fixed point where you just see all of the things that are moving, and it's great. And I love that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, this definitely would have happened.
I love behind the scenes stuff so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's my absolute favorite thing.
Yeah.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I grew up...
How do people not want to watch, like, blooper reels and behind the scenes videos? Why don't they want to do that?
Because they don't want fun in their lives. But yeah, no, I grew up as... I wasn't a theater kid. I was the child of a theater kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, like, I grew up in the theater because my dad was an actor.
Yeah.
And so, like, getting to see all of the behind-the-scenes stuff and getting to help out and, like, you know, oh, we need this prop to be in this spot at this time. You know, all these little things. That's why, like, have you seen Noises Off?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I will have to get you to watch Noises Off. They did a movie of it. It's a play, but they did a movie of it. And it's so dated now because it's got Carol Burnett and Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve and John Ritter and
with John Ritter from
Three's Company
and Eight Simple Rules to Dating My Teenage Daughter.
Yes,
in which he died.
R.I.P.
Yes.
But yeah, it's one of those.
Also, that one episode of Buffy.
Yes,
Ted,
the episode that I can no longer watch on my DVDs because it's the one episode that got a scratch on it.
Oh no!
I know, I'm so sad. But yeah, it's Noises Off is like the entire concept of it is it's a traveling theater group that, you know, has a lot of craziness happening in their lives because, you know, of affairs between actors and whatever. But the fun of it for me is the fact that you get to see all the behind the scenes stuff that happens at a theater where it's, you know, walking in this door, you're walking, you know, behind the set, and then you have to go through this door to get to this place, and that.
Yep.
It's so much fun for me as a kid who grew up in the theater because my dad was an actor, and like being able to be like, okay, they're gonna need this prop at that door, but not for another 15 minutes because if it's at the door now, it'll be in the way when they open the door, and like just all these little like the timing of everything.
Yeah, I did some stage managing in high school. I remember all of this very well.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Anyway, where were we?
Back in the coronation room, Piper appears in the cage.
Phoebe is super happy it worked. Piper asks where she is, and Paige is like, "Oh, we're trapped in the cage."
Piper says that they should bust out, and she goes to use her power, but Paige stops her before she does, saying that it would just bounce around and, you know, possibly kill them.
Which, their powers don't work on witches, so I don't know that that's true. But hey, precaution.
Exactly. The Dark Priest starts to get the seer to repeat the oath. Piper asks what's going on. Phoebe tells her that the seer is being coronated as the new source, and Paige mentions that there are going to be sacrifices. And then Piper has my favorite line of all time so far in this show, like since day one. Let's get this straight. You guys summoned me to a cage where my powers don't work so we can all die together?
Yep. Paige admits that the plan has some flaws. And Phoebe says that they just need to stay positive because there's nothing stronger than the power of 3. And right at that point is when the seer starts glowing and floats up into the middle of the air and the room begins to shake.
Piper wonders if she's sure that there's nothing stronger than the power of 3. And then the seer floats back down to the ground. She turns to the cage and is surprised when she notices Piper. And she starts to say something about, you know, you've made my day or whatever. And then flames shoot out of her head and she groans. And Phoebe realizes that the baby has too much power for her, explaining that she felt like she was going to explode when it happened to her.
Paige asks what they should do, and Phoebe says that they need to make her tap into all of the baby's power. Paige wonders how, and then the flames disappear.
The seer immediately commands everyone to witness the power of the source. Piper wonders if they should just use the power of 3 spell. All the girls agree.
This specific bit felt unscripted. It was
A
really
little bit.
weird.
And it
because
also
they're just
felt...
Piper just looks around. It looked like an improv troupe.
Yeah,
For just like a few seconds, like Piper's just like power of 3, and like Paige nods and like yeah, Phoebe's like oh yeah. Like they were yes-anding her.
Yeah, this particular scene didn't feel like it was built up.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of felt like it happened.
Yeah.
Because like okay, there's nothing stronger than the power of 3. Well, then let's just use the power of 3 spell because that's got to work.
Hey, yeah.
You know. So it didn't really feel like there was any build up to it, but
that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just weird. It didn't feel like it was a finished scene.
Yeah.
In that way. But
anyway,
they start
chanting it.
Yeah. The power of 3 will set us free.
The seer reaches out one arm to Bunsen burn them, and there's a continuity error here because in the wide shot, her arm is up pretty high, like close to her face. And then when it comes into like a mid-range shot, as the priest is talking to her, her arm is like pointed a foot lower.
Yeah.
And I presume that was for like the camera angle because they didn't want to block off like too much
probably.
of her or something. But it keeps happening.
Yeah.
But
so
it's not working. It kind of activates a bubble around the cage.
Yeah, like the power of 3 spell apparently casts a barrier around the cage, so it's protecting them from this thing. The Dark Priest asks what's wrong. The seer growls that nothing is wrong.
Raises his other arm to Bunsen burn them.
Yeah, the girls continue chanting, and then the light rebounds back, hitting the seer.
And then she kind of, like...
She kind of starts shaking a little bit.
You know what this movement is that she does? It's when you're in Star Trek, and there's a lot of Star Trek in this episode. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
And you're in a battle scene, and they have to shake the camera and tell everyone which way to rumble.
Yeah.
And so they have, like, code words for that, and then everyone goes, like, left, right. Like, it was a little bit of, like, the floor is supposed to be rumbling. Yeah, definitely that.
Yeah, definitely a shimmy.
It starts shooting off into various demons around the room.
Yeah.
Like little Bunsen burner flames, like, going around.
Yep. Vanquishes everybody in the room, and when the
including her.
Yep. And when the dust has settled, Piper... I don't know why, but I love this moment. When the dust has settled, Piper kind of looks around and goes, where'd everybody go?
And then kicks the cage out in front of them. The entire front of the cage just drops.
Yep. They walk out. Phoebe says that the blast took everyone out, and as the camera pulls back, we see little piles of ash everywhere around the room.
It was adorable. Piper says that the scales of evil and good just dramatically tipped in their favor. Paige notices that the grimoire is, of course, untouched. And Phoebe's like, it's time we got rid of that once and for all.
We then fade into a lovely night shot of the Golden Gate Bridge, then a quick shot of the Triangle Building, and then a very quick exterior shot of the manor. Like, blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah.
Exterior shot of the manor. Before we find ourselves in the living room.
Phoebe is curled up. And actually, is this the living room or is this like the parlor?
Whatever.
Whatever. Phoebe is curled up on the big, light-colored chair. She's got some light gray sweatpants, a dark blue
Was it
hoodie.
blue?
Yes, it was. It was navy.
I paused it and it still looked gray to me, but alright.
It was blue.
I'll take your word for it.
It was a very dark blue, but it was blue.
Alright.
It was a sweatshirt that, like, if it had a collar, it got cut out into kind of a boat neck, so it's hanging like a little off of one shoulder. And
yeah, it looked like it was a little bit too big on her. Because it was pulled off the shoulder in such a way that it looked like it was...
bit. And her hair is in these two adorable little fun buns, like high up on her head.
So cute. And she's got these like little slippers on that were basically like the tan versions of my slippers.
Yeah.
I love it. And she's again still got the horseshoe necklace, but for a moment, like it's kind of the way that she's leaning, I couldn't see the necklace for a second, so it looked
Yeah.
like she didn't have it. And I was like, oh, she's not wearing it? But then she is. It
Yeah.
just, Paige, my God, this outfit,
Yes.
this moment for Paige. She's curled up in the big dark colored chair. She is in what looks to be a blue polo shirt style dress with thick white socks
That look like baseball socks.
and white shoes with Velcro closures.
It's
They are
strangely
nurses'
an
shoes.
outmoded outfit for her.
Yeah. They are nurses' shoes. And then her hair is pulled into a really cute little messy bun with 2 strawberries stuck into it.
Presumably strawberries that are topping hair sticks.
I'm assuming. But
And
it
she's
just
got
looks like there's
one
strawberries in her
little
hair.
like curl that's coming out of it, and it's just like hanging by her face.
Yeah. And then Piper is on the couch. She is in red pants that have 2 white lines down the sides. And when she stands up, we see that they have the number 22 on both butt cheeks, which I thought was kind of funny. She has paired this with a long sleeve black sweater that's slightly turtlenecked.
Yeah, it's
Just slightly.
it's definitely like a raised neck.
Yeah. And her hair is down. And then Leo orbs in wearing the same clothes that he's been in all episode.
He tells them that the grimoire has a new home in a mountain of rock in the West Andes and sits down beside Piper.
I do think it's funny that he put the grimoire in a rock.
Yep.
It's like it is inside of the rock.
Well, if he can phase through shit,
Yeah.
then whatever he's phasing, he can presumably drop whatever he's phasing in the middle of it, and it'll just be like, the Pegasus in an asteroid field. That's another Star Trek reference for y'all. Because,
Yeah.
when you try to make better cloaking devices than what the Romulans have, occasionally you fuck up.
Yep. Piper thanks Leo. They kiss. Paige asks how many times they vanquished the Source, and Phoebe replies, 3, but who's counting? Paige wonders if they really got him this time, and Leo says that the elders are acting like it's a holiday, so yes. And that they're surprised that they were actually able to do it.
Piper reminds them about the cost, and Leo says, well, at least he's looking forward to having a good baby in the house. And there's a little awkward moment. We get a shot of Paige, because she knows.
Mm-hmm.
Piper takes his hand and tells him that she heard from the doctor, and that they're in for a rough road, which he's of course worried about.
She says that she's not, giving in or giving up, and that there are a lot of options in this world. And so he shouldn't worry.
Phoebe says she's sure that the charmed line isn't supposed to end with them, and Piper gets up and grabs the letter that she found in Cole's safe. She'd apparently, stuck it on a shelf.
Yeah. And she kind of says in a little baby voice that Cole left this letter for you, whatever. She hands it to Phoebe and then just walks off. And we time jump to Phoebe's bedroom, apparently later that night. She's reading the letter, which we see written and hear as a voiceover from Cole. So even though he wasn't in the credits, he was apparently uncredited in this episode because we hear his voice. And Cole has very feminine handwriting. Just putting that out there.
It's elegant, okay?
Yeah. It was very loopy.
Anyway, the letter reads, if I'm dead right now, I know it was at your hand. No one else in heaven or hell had power over me. Please don't cry. I was dead before I met you. I was born the day you loved me, and my love for you will keep me alive forever.
Now, this is one of those moments where if it wasn't Cole, it would be sweet. But because it's Cole, it's a little creepy. Because...
It's only a little creepy because of what next happens.
Exactly. Phoebe lays on the bed, and we pan to the window as a breeze blows in, and we hear Cole's voice quietly say, help me. And then Phoebe sits up, and we hear Cole's voice say, Phoebe. And she kind of looks around and goes, Cole? And then we go to the end credits.
Yeah.
And so again, it was the line of, my love for you will keep me alive forever. And I literally went, God damn it, I forgot we weren't rid of him yet.
Nope, not just yet.
Not just yet. Anyway, so...
With the episode done, it is time to move on to our ratings.
Indeed. Do you have a clue?
Yes. I'm giving this 8.5 out of 10 Bunsen burners. Because I might as well have used that since I was talking about it the entire episode.
I am giving this episode 8 out of 10 destroyed demons.
From the ashy antagonists.
Yeah. With the ratings done, we are on to outfits. Do you have a favorite?
You know, I like Phoebe's outfit with the white jacket.
Okay. All right.
The rest of them,
I liked the sweatshirt at the end.
that was cute.
It looked very comfy.
Yes, it was.
For Piper, her main outfit, like her main episode outfit, was nice and classic. And I liked the sweater at the end too. Like that was really nice. But for
She looked
Paige,
cozy.
Yeah, she did look cozy. For Paige, I really liked that vest.
It was pretty sexy.
Like, and it was a good, like, look on her. It didn't look out of place. It didn't look inappropriate, especially since she didn't go to work wearing it.
Yes, this is true.
But, like, it looked really good on her.
Yeah.
I liked that vest a lot. Like, it's one of those where, like, if I was thin, I would wear something like that. You know?
Yeah.
It was very cute. So, with ratings done and outfits done, we are on to social media stuff.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. You can email.
Can I get a wahoo?
Can I get a wahoo? Wahoo. You can email any questions, comments, or queries to charmchats@gmail.com.
And you can find all of the links to whatever we mentioned in today's episode at charmedchats.com, which is where you can also find the links to our Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, YouTube, Redbubble, and Patreon pages.
And if you want to join the Discord, all you have to do is email us the phrase, "We're the power of 2 plus blue," and we will send you an invite link.
And speaking of Patreon, we have not one, but 2 patrons.
Whoop whoop!
New patrons, I should specify.
Yes, 2 brand new patrons. So, first, we shall start with Patrick.
Yes.
Are you ready to have your name shouted into the ether?
He better damn well be.
Patrick! And next is Nick. Here we go. Nick!
Do you like that? I made the explosion the
I like it. It was nice.
Okay.
You're awesome!
You're both dolls.
We're very grateful.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. We're almost to the end of the season.
Yep. One more episode, baby.
One more episode. Gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will have an announcement episode.
Yep.
And then some stuff's gonna happen.
Yep.
You just have to wait and see what's happening.
Oh ho 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 ho.
So,
Evil anime laugh. Oh.
so until next time.
Sleep tight. Don't let the warlocks bite. Bye.
Bye.